Hayden here from mybottleshop.com.au. Today we've got Rock.
Hey, how we going? It's Rock here.
We're going to have a bit of a chat about Buffalo Trace, one of the longest running distilleries in the US.
That's right, and this distillery's won a lot of awards, Hayden. In fact, it's claimed to be the world's most awarded distillery, and you'll see here from the huge number of bottles we've got in front of us that in fact this distillery has produced a whole huge range of bourbons. And you'll see here, we'll just run through a few of the famous brand names. Of course, we've got the icon of bourbon, the Pappy Van Winkle, and this is a 23-year-old. This is made by Buffalo Trace Distillery. Hidden in the back here, we've got the famous W.L. Weller. That's also a Buffalo Trace product, almost impossible to get now, but this is a 12-year-old. Famous Blanton's Bourbon. Quite revered over in the USA and extremely hard to get. This is actually the barrel proof. Again, this is a Buffalo Trace bourbon product. Down the back here, there's some lesser known brands. Old Charter, that's also produced out of Buffalo Trace. You won't see that here in Australia, but
it's a vintage one, that one, isn't it?
Well, it is a bit of a vintage one, yeah. It's quite a, you might say in USA it's a bottom shelf bourbon, but still a very good bourbon. And hidden away in the back box here, we've got this little gem. Used to be on shelves everywhere in the USA and Australia, and now sought after collector's item. It's the Elmer T. Lee, renowned as the father of bourbon, and you see there's a little touch left in that bottle there for posterity. We've also got some other Buffalo Trace branded products here, Hayden. We've got, well, unfortunately this is the bourbon cream, which has been discontinued here in Australia. I'm not sure about what's going to happen in the rest of the world, but last bottles are available for sale here now in Australia. That's soon to disappear, sadly, because that's an awesome product. And we've got a few little, what we call experimental collection bourbons here. For example, this is the experimental collection where they looked at the proof of which the whiskey came out of the barrel and went into the barrel. So when it came off the still, they put it into the barrel different proofs. This particular one here is 115 proof, and we'll have a brief talk about that in a little minute as well, Hayden. And here's one of their white dogs. This is actually the wheated mash. You see it's a little half bottle size, and we're lucky here at Mybottleshop, we've still got a few of these bottles left. It's basically the forerunner to the Pappy Van Winkle. So if you took this and aged this for 23 years, it would be this product here. And if you took this wheated mash and you aged it for 12 years, you'd have W.L. Weller. So that's the wheat mash that they use. And of course, I guess at the end of the day, we end up with the product you've got on your hands, Hayden.
Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace Bourbon.
Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey.
What can you tell us about that one there?
I've got the tasting notes here.
Yeah, well what we might do is if you just want to open bottle here, Hayden, so we'll pour ourselves a little bit of a dram here, or a bit of a tasting
one that Steve
glass.
missed was the
oh yes,
the Corazon Reposado Tequila. It's aged in Buffalo Trace barrels.
Yep.
And the barrels come from George T. Stagg, Old Rip Van Winkle, Buffalo Trace, and Sazerac Rye.
Awesome looking bottle.
All these bottles are individually numbered, bottled at 40%, and that's exclusive to Mybottleshop in Australia. You won't be able to get that anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't think they're available anywhere in the world either. They sold out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I know they did some aged in Stagg barrels. George T. Stagg, I don't know if we've got a Stagg here, I don't think so. And also Van Winkle. They had some that were aged in the Rip Van Winkle and the Old Van Winkle barrels as well.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, high-class sipping tequilas, I guess you might say.
Collector's product.
Yeah, a bit of a collector's product as well.
Individually numbered and all that sort of stuff, so
good,
check
great.
that out as well.
Alright, so it's a pretty crowded old barrel we got here today. I'll just give you a bit of a nip over there. So we're just going to do some tasting notes. This is the standard Buffalo Trace bourbon you get here in Australia. Unfortunately, it is 40% and not the 45. If you're watching in the USA, you get the 45%, and there is a difference, I have to say. In the taste of that.
What about the minis that we have?
Yeah, the minis, we don't have any right here, no, but we've got the little 50ml minis. They're actually 45%. They'll be available online at Mybottleshop. If you do want to taste, like do a comparison between the Australian Buffalo Trace and the American one, buy one of our little minis for $10 or $9 or whatever, and do a bit of a taste comparison. It's quite interesting. Now, what are you going on the nose there, Haydos, with this one?
It's sweet, bit of oak, and it's quite approachable in the nose. Probably has
It's a little bit, am I
too.
getting a little bit of mint or something on there? A little bit minty,
Mint.
maybe?
Yeah.
Sprigs of mint,
Bit of
quite
mint.
fresh. I notice this for 40% whiskey. I don't know if the viewers can see there's quite long legs.
Yep.
I wouldn't say thick legs because only 40%, but they're taking their time to run down the glass. It's a bit of legs on that product there.
Yeah.
And,
They appear pretty quickly and take their time to run down the glass, which is a good sign.
yeah, and what are you getting sort of on the mouth there? I mean, caramel, I guess,
Caramel,
right?
yeah.
Toffee, a little bit of toffee. Almost some sort of nut, would you say?
Yeah,
I'm getting
nutmeg maybe.
maybe a nutmeg, an almond note. Almost sweet and dessert-like, I would
Sweet,
say. Yeah.
caramel.
Mm.
Hangs around for a long time.
Mm.
So
The finish is a little bit shallow, but I guess that's the 40%. Here in Australia, we're a victim of the liquor tax or liquor laws, where this bottle of bourbon's probably got $30 worth of tax. So unfortunately, the producers and owners of these brands, when they bring it into Australia, to make an affordable price point, they have to add water. So they've watered this down from 45% down to 40%. But still, great everyday drinking bourbon. And you can see from the heritage of these bottles here, it's in good stead.
Yep.
It's a great everyday drinking bourbon. Great, easy to mix up with the old fashions.
Yep.
Easy just to sit down and sip on Whiskey Wednesday if you want.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
And speaking of cocktails, we've got the stainless steel mint julep cups, and they get one of these free with every Buffalo Trace order that contains a naked bottle of the Buffalo Trace. So keep that in mind as well. It's a neat little glass. It's nice.
That's
and
so it's
heavy.
nice, yeah. Stainless steel too, right?
Yeah,
So it's
stainless
real
steel.
quality. Only
So,
limited
that's
number of
great.
those, though, right? Just finally, I wanted to talk briefly, and you've got the notes there, Hayden. I just wanted to talk about this experiment that Buffalo Trace did in 2014. There's actually 4 bottles in the series, and actually, to be honest, we've still got a few of these bottles left at Mybottleshop. I think there's one barrel strength that we're missing, but we've got the different entry proofs here. So they're basically 4 different entry proofs. If you just want to read out, so this is a rye whiskey, by the way. So this would be perhaps close to the basis of Sazerac rye, which is another Buffalo Trace product.
Yep.
So it's a rye whiskey. There's 4 alcohol by volumes or proofs, where they took it off the still and put into the barrel 4 different proofs to find out what were the results of that, as far as taste and evaporation goes. And we just got those on the paper there, Hayden.
So the 4 different proofs
Yep.
that the whiskey went into the barrel at
Yep.
was 125, 115, 105 and 90 proof. And the experiment was kind of to ascertain what the proofs would be after a number of years in the barrel.
Yeah. So it's basically saying, okay, if I put a whiskey, came off the still and I put it into the barrel at 120, or I put it into the barrel at 90, how does it affect the flavour of this end product?
Yeah.
Now, you'll see there's a few interesting points on there. One of them was that I think the 90 proof had like a 25% evaporation loss inside the barrel, which was quite interesting, which basically meant that the more water in the spirit meant the more angel share or more evaporation. And some of the high proof ones didn't hold up so well on some of the tasting notes of the 120. And I believe it was the 105 proof, is it?
Yep.
I think was the one that...
A good overall flavour,
Yeah.
earthy tones, buttery light finish. So essentially a lighter proof going into the barrel meant a drier finish.
Right, and I think the conclusion was that is pretty much what's in this bottle. So this is roughly a 105 proof or 52.5 ABV here in Australia that they put it into the barrel, and that's what you're getting in your standard Buffalo Trace. So obviously the experiment proves that that's the flavour profile that people want, And they've done a lot of fascinating experiments like that about different types of grains and different types of temperature where they put the barrel and what sort of woods that they've used. So Buffalo Trace really, the leading bourbon house in the US. We're big supporters of them here at Mybottleshop. We keep a lot of products in range. It's always hard to get these fellas. but they do come in and go out. But we'd like you to take a look at Buffalo Trace on the Mybottleshop website. And Hayden, I guess subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to post a video a week, so
we're trying to actually
every
maybe
now and then.
2 if we can.
Two
videos.
a week. So yeah, and don't forget we've got the mint julep glass and some whiskey rocks and stuff. So visit the website and check out the Buffalo Trace range. Cheers.
Cheers.